Craig here, Reviews for You. Hope you're having a good weekend. Alright, so we're going to go over the state of Lucasfilm. Alright, so the state of Lucasfilm right now is they are in full ass panic mode. Disney has put a stop to all their crap. Like I said before, if you have 5 people working for you and 4 producing and 1 is not, you got to go in and handle the one that's not. So as far as their stuff being put on hold and everything else, all right, there's a restructuring going on right now at Lucasfilm. They are restructuring everything. When I say everything, I mean everything. And this had to happen. I mean, it just has to happen. There's no way it can't. And when I say there's a restructuring going on, I'm talking about when there are still multiple projects. There were never 9. Just letting you know that now. But there are multiple projects that were in concept, but all that stuff's being put on hold. They've got everybody together trying to figure out what the hell they're going to do with episode 9 to make sure it doesn't become Solo version 2. And to be honest with you, I don't think that there's really anything they can do. Bringing Billy D in is, I mean, that's great. I like Billy D. Williams. He'll always be my Lando. But it's not going to be enough to carry a movie. At this point, you've already screwed Luke so freaking bad that I honestly really don't give 2 shits about it. And you've turned Rey into the biggest horseshit Force user ever. So I don't really care about Rey's character. Kylo needs to be bent over somebody's knee and spanked with a belt. He's not a villain. Hux is no longer a bad guy. You can't even compare him to Tarkin. The First Order itself is not even comparable to the Empire. Let's see, what other character? Oh, Finn, after 2 movies, still, has no real reason to even be there. So, and I hate that for John Boyega because he's actually a really good actor. Adam Driver is too. I hate what they've done with Kylo Ren. They should have never taken his mask off in 7, and they should have not treated him like a whiny little bitch. And this last episode 8 just completely ruined everything. I mean, from this point on, there's really the Skywalker saga is done. All right, and that's what all this was supposed to be, is a wrap up to the Skywalker saga, and that's done. There's not a Skywalker left. And you can say, oh well, Ben Solo, no, Ben Solo, not a Skywalker. So without a Skywalker being there, you've already ended the Skywalker saga. So as far as I'm concerned, Episode 9 is a standalone movie all its own, and they are in full-on panic mode right now. Disney came and just kind of put their foot down and said, "Look, you're going to have to fix your shit." They're tired of all the backlash. You don't ever see any backlash off of anybody else's stuff, ever. Now they've got this deal going with Fox, and they need to keep their stock prices up. When everything was announced, that projects have been suspended and put on hold and everything else, stock prices immediately went down, which is why the retraction came back in, which is the same thing that happened with the article in France where Kathleen Kennedy said, yes, there's going to be a Lando spinoff, and everybody was against it. And then immediately she retracts all that stuff. No. She didn't say that there was a Lando spinoff coming. Yeah, she did. It was merely to get a reaction, or merely to put it out there. And then when she got the negative reaction, oh God, So she's always reactive, not proactive. There's a difference. You need to be proactive. You need to know what your fans want. You need to. George Lucas said it himself. he always made the movie for the hardcore fan. And he did that knowing that he's going to make it for the hardcore fan. They're going to show up. And there will be a few people that don't like the movie that much. But it's never going to be, you know, I hate this thing, I want to burn it. It should have never happened. You know, Rian Johnson should have never, ever, ever been able to touch a freaking Star Wars movie. Which leads me to the directors that they're going to be choosing for upcoming Star Wars projects. Going with more experienced directors, going with directors that actually are good with big budget films. As we all know, Rian Johnson only had 4 films underneath his belt before he touched the most beloved franchise and completely sent it into fuckville. So, and one of those was Evil Demon Golf Ball from Hell. I mean, are you really going to trust that to produce a Star Wars film? And the sad state of affairs right now is Star Wars is not Lucasfilm Limited anymore. All right, it's a corporate holding. That's all it is. It's a corporate asset. Whereas before, Lucasfilm Limited was geared towards the fan. Well, now it's a corporate holding. It's geared towards being a corporate holding. That's it. It's stocks and shares that can be bought and traded. And the sad truth of the whole thing is that's exactly what it's become. And shares started going down. Faith in the company started going down, which makes shares go down. And Disney has to put a stop to that because the shares can't go down because now you're devaluating the company. And they've got billions, and I mean billions of dollars that they're pouring into both Disney theme parks with the new Star Wars attractions. And they've got to look out for that investment. Has nothing to do with customers, which is what we are, not fans, customers. Has nothing to do with us at all. None of this has anything to do with us. Has nothing to do with them saving face, doing the right thing, making things right, making a good film, or anything else. You're going to get everything but the damn kitchen sink thrown at your ass for episode 9, trying to get you to come back. And then the next thing they're going to do is they're going to turn around and pretty much bend you over and stick a Lando in you. So, you know, Snoke's coming back. You know, what? It's not a trilogy anymore. It's 3 separate movies. It's a movie. You know, it was okay. The worst pile of shit that anybody has ever produced. And then a 2-hour infomercial for the billions of dollars worth of stuff that they're putting in at Disney parks. And a story about a bunch of characters that we really don't care about. I don't care what happens to, I don't care what happens to Poe. I really don't. You've stuck L3's freaking computer in the Millennium Falcon. So this will be the last time you ever get to see it. It's going to be episode 9. Good news is I have an original one, so I don't have to worry about buying that Millennial Falcon that they got. I actually have an original one, so you know, Rey automatically gets Chewie. I mean, Rey automatically gets the freaking Falcon. Don't you think that should go directly to Chewie? I'm just saying. Anyway, well, that's the state of affairs at Lucasfilm right now. They are restructuring everything. Everybody from every freaking department is in the middle of working on the story for episode 9. Exactly. You want to talk about panic mode. You are a month away from shooting and you're still working on the story. Trying to correct shit, fix shit. Well, how can we sucker them into coming back? You suckered me in once. You suckered me in the second time. You ain't suckered me in a third. So, but that's exactly what's going on with Star Wars right now. That's what's going on at Lucasfilm. As soon as I know more, now I do know that Favreau series, they have not touched it at all for the live action series, because they need that for the streaming network. Plus, you know, I like Favreau. I think he's going to produce some good stuff. It depends on what kind of messages they're going to make him put in things, but he's actually going to be the one writing it. So be different directors directing episodes. But Favreau himself is a great writer and has done some great projects. So I think that's going to actually turn out well. I'm actually looking forward to the D&D trilogy, being Old Republic. You know, those guys with Game of Thrones have done an amazing job. I don't see why they can't do an amazing job with Star Wars, especially coming back with the Old Republic characters. I think that would be great and awesome. But right now, Lucasfilm is not geared towards the hardcore fans. They are geared to try and bring in a broader audience. But what they fail to realize is their broader audience doesn't buy shit. Their broader audience doesn't have huge ass collections of stuff. Their broader audience is not the ones that pay all this money to go to Star Wars Celebration every year. Their broader audience is not the one that pays enormous amounts of money for collectibles. And, you know, that's your hardcore fan. Your hardcore fan does that. All right, well, merchandising and movies is two separate things. And George Lucas figured that out before he even released Star Wars. And merchandising brought in just as much as the freaking movie. And his movies brought in a lot of money. And if you convert that money over to today's money, they're blowing this Disney crap away. Now, as far as KK is concerned, she's got heavy input on 9. Now, whether that's been stopped, moved, whatever, from what I know, they're crunch time right now. I mean, they're still throwing ideas out. They're rewriting this, they're rewriting that, and Lucasfilm is up against the wall, plain and simple. It's either perform or get out. So Disney's not going to let their shares drop, plain and simple. Not going to make their shares drop. So I just wanted to update everybody on what's going on there. I know there's been the articles that have come out, and I'm pretty sure somebody will release an article today that's going to tell you the identical same thing, that that they're in the middle of restructuring, and they've all their focus is definitely on 9. But it has been, their entire focus has definitely been on 9 for more than a day or two, because they've got to produce a movie that actually makes money. And, you know, without the hardcore fan there, you're going to see that same art, you know, a decent opening weekend, and then it's just going to fall right off. And everybody around the globe has the same view that you and I do. And we talked about it in the live chat last night, and we had issues with again. But we're going to be live chatting again tonight with no issues, because I have all that crap straightened out finally. So we'll have good video and good sound. Last night, I don't know, the stream crashed on us last night, which is not my problem. That's not my fault. That's a YouTube issue. And then the sound went out on one of the microphones, swapped over to the second microphone. It's Disney trying to silence us, I guess. You know, I don't know. They don't like the truth coming out, and that's the truth. I mean, the truth is their back's against the wall, and everybody's focusing on 9, trying to salvage this, and they are going to throw as much shit in this movie as possible to try and get everybody to come back. And I got news for you. I mean, my Skywalker saga is already over. It ended in a shitty way, so all I can do is my Skywalker saga ended at Return of the Jedi. So that was the end of my Skywalker saga. And this bunch of shit that they released, other than Rogue One, I mean, Force Awakens was meh. It was alright. It's got problems. But, you know, Rogue One is probably the best thing that they produced so far. And it's by no means perfect, but it's not a bad movie. Solo is just you know, Stream that shit on Kodi. Don't waste your freaking money paying to watch that, because you'll just be disappointed. I mean, it's okay. It's not a great movie. It's not horrible. There's a reason it lost money. And it's not just, I mean, it's okay. And you can't be subpar at Disney, because Incredibles 2 came out and made more money in one weekend than Solo made globally the whole month or 5 weeks that it's been out. And Incredibles 2 did that on a 3-day weekend. And one of the directors that they released, Colin Trevorrow, his movie has made more money than friggin' Solo, and with a much, much, much smaller budget. And it's not, you know, this is the opening weekend here domestically. They opened it a week earlier, and they had pulled in $400 million the first week internationally. So it's probably going to have a good weekend this weekend here. So there's 2 movies right there that are connected to Disney in some way, because Kathleen fired Colin, and it's the best thing she could have ever done. And Colin Trevorrow said, or Trevorrow said, and a direct quote from him, being at Lucasfilm was acidic. So, them calling us toxic fans when the environment that they are in is being called acidic. When I was there, I got the same feeling. So, it's not the same Lucasfilm I used to visit. But with that being said, I'm Craig. Reviews for you, and I am